The North Shore Greenway is one of the projects that we've been working on for quite some time. And it's a very well put together project. We've experienced a lot of delays because communities along the path don't really understand what the benefits of it are. However, the fact that it's built wide enough so that both bicycle and joggers can participate in the same path, is built so that it has a very, very scenic view. It's built so that it pretty much protects the user from traffic, and it's built in a way that will last for a long time and require very little maintenance. All the components of the North Shore Greenway that we're putting together is a model, and that model is something that we wish to emulate throughout the county. If we can do this in every area within the county, we'll have just a fantastic transportation system that is non-vehicular for people all over the county to be able to share and to be able to utilize for generations to come. So we really want to look at this as a model and take the same model and go from community to community. If you've never been on the North Shore Greenway, take the opportunity to walk or cycle the North Shore Greenway. It's a truly tremendous opportunity. When I first got interested in working with the county, this was back in the late 1980s. There's a guy that was in Paia. His name was Bob Kiger, otherwise known as Cruiser Bob. We actually went through and looked at creating a bikeway around the entire island. And he took me on a ride from Paia all the way to Kahului through Nazca and showed me the route that would be the preferred route. The people that use these kinds of activities are quite numerous in many, many communities. And I know that as a child, I used to ride bikes quite a bit. And that used to be a very popular way for all the students to be able to get back and forth to school. We've gone away from it because a lot of the parents believe that the traffic is unsafe and that the students are in jeopardy if they ride their bikes unescorted or without parents. By creating greenways and bikeways, we create a safe path so that students and people within our community that are older can utilize these paths not only for biking but for walking and any non-vehicular type of activity. It's very critical for us to have the feeling of safety and for us to be able to have safe access to any parts of our community makes that community that much better, and the residents there have a higher quality of life. So I firmly believe we need to be looking at a lot of these kinds of paths. And as a legislature on the council, we put into the community plans greenways, bikeways. We were looking at heritage trails around the entire island. We looked at even equestrian paths in the upcountry area so that people on horseback would have a way to do the horseback riding without being run off the road by vehicles. And the more we can get people to utilize these alternative means of transportation, the more physically fit we are, the more we have the enjoyability of our community. I mean, if you're riding a bike from one area to the other, you actually see the scenery, you actually breathe the air, you feel the atmosphere around you. There's an exhilaration, and you can almost equate that to a rush of life. And you feel that when you're out there. And this is something that people need to experience more and more. You know, you don't get that when you're locked in a car, riding around with air conditioning or cooking without air conditioning. But a lot of people have forgotten just how beneficial it is and just how much they used to enjoy a simple thing like zooming along on a bicycle or walking and feeling the breeze and stopping to see the butterflies and smelling the flowers. You know, the proverb, stop and smell the roses, well, that's real. Here in Hawaii especially, and here on Maui in particular, we need to take the time out to look at all of the beautiful things that are in our environment. And if you take the time in just a daily walk a mile, you'll find that there are literally hundreds of things that you observe that you will never see while you're riding in a car. And taking the time to experience each one of these gives you a much better sense of what the community is filled with. And that beauty stays with you. And that's the kind of thing that makes Maui the best place in the world to live. So I'm a firm believer in creating the bikeways, the walkways, the ability for us to be able to experience what our environment is. And we'll do everything in our power to be able to enhance this community's ability to gain access to those bikeways and walkways and equestrian trails. It's important.
Thank you. Tell me what happened.
One of the key components we're working with is dealing with alternative energies. And part of the alternative energy product is to be able to work away from cluttering up our streets and getting people to be able to save a lot of money on gas, to be able to save a lot on just repair and maintenance of our highways. If we can get everyone to be able to step back and walk from one place to another or cycle from one place to another, we change our habits. And those habits will allow us to be able to gain a lot of benefits that we're not even just losing it, we're creating a problem for our nation. And that is, we're becoming less physically fit, we're having a lot more diseases, we're finding a way to put on too much weight, and that's causing us to go to the doctors much, much more. Simple things like bicycle paths and walkways will allow us to get away from those bad habits. At the same time, you know, we've been reading in the paper about all the greenhouse gas emissions and how global warming from that greenhouse gas emission may be affecting our communities. And even if it's a maybe, the opportunity to get away from that by walking and using the bikes are something that we should really consider taking advantage of. Here in Hawaii, we have 365 days of nice weather. We do not have the freezing cold of winters, nor do we have the blistering heat of the desert. It's just something that we have that we can take advantage of that no other community in the world can experience, and that is the great weather. At the same time, we still have the opportunity to go around and look at all of the beautiful things that we have around us. You know, when I was a lot younger, we used to go through our neighborhood. We used to pick guavas and have those, and eat those, and we used to get star fruit from my neighbor's yard, pick mangoes. Everybody had a tangerine tree or some kind of a citrus tree. We used to enjoy those. So just going from places to places, we would find opportunities to not fill ourselves with candy and sweets that we do today. If we can work together and rebuild communities where we can share opportunities like this, we have such an opportunity for a healthier community. And that's really what we need to go to. And by the way, when we were younger, the neighbors used to encourage us to come and pick the tangerines off their trees or share the mangoes because they had too many to eat from the trees, or avocados, or pomegranates, or guavas. You know, it used to be an abundance within our communities. And we need to get back to planting some of these kinds of trees so that we do have edibles that are healthy. If we can continue this kind of practice, and all of us participate in it, and we all share with each other, we'll not only have better health, but we'll also make a heck of a lot more friends. You know, when you're sharing somebody else's fruit and they're sharing yours, you're making friends at the same time. And that's why our communities were so much closer then. everybody used to talk to everybody. Everybody used to be able to take time out of their busy schedules to just have a conversation. Today we're rushing from place to place, and we're too preoccupied with doing almost nothing but rushing. And building these healthier communities, building the walkways, putting in edible trees, edible landscaping, having the children play and watching the children play. These are the kinds of things that we need to encourage more and more. And if we do, we will have a community that is truly incorporating within itself the ability to be healthy. It will happen automatically. It won't have to be forced. We don't have to retrain our community. You'll find that when fruit are easily accessible, you reach for the fruit because it's convenient rather than walking to go and get a soda or going to the store to get candy. And the practice will become healthy in and of itself. So I encourage everyone in our community, think and breathe and do things that are necessary to be able to really appreciate our community and all of the benefits we have within it. There are people that would save their entire lifetime to come here to spend a week, and we live here. We should be spending our entire lifetime appreciating the fact that we live in one of the best places in the world and take advantage of all of the situations that are around us and truly enjoy them. If you haven't looked at a butterfly lately, or you haven't seen the sunset, take the time to do it. There's nothing more miraculous than watching the sun go down over the horizon or watching a butterfly spread its wings.